Good morning. We're certainly excited about this week's preparation. The Indianapolis Colts are the Super Bowl representative of the AFC last year, 14-2 football team. Quite frankly, doesn't do a lot with preseason. The regular season, obviously, they suffered a setback last weekend, but they're coming home, and it's a Sunday night game, and we certainly are excited about this week's preparation, the number of outstanding players that we have to both defend and attack, and trying to improve ourselves is where we are. The first thing that I presented to our team today was this is exactly what the opponent sees, because I do talk to them frequently about I am your mirror. I tell you exactly what I see. And so we went over that part, what we have to learn and what we have to improve from last week's game, and then we start in terms of our preparation for the opponent. So, exciting week. Here we go. Well, they played up most of last year without Bob Sanders too. So, and they were 14-2. So, they certainly did. Their defense is built in conjunction with the style of football that they play. They're very fast. They're very physical. All you got to do is look at those two defensive ends and know that they're coming. They're coming after you. They're excellent speed rushers, power rushers, spin moves, you name it, they've got it. And the thing that Houston was able to do was keep the score 13-10 and with 10 minutes to go in the third quarter. So they're very much in the game, and they're rushing the football. And, of course, everyone tries to win the time of possession just to be able to hold the ball away from the potent offense. Well, if you look at the average, what teams give up rushing, you do see that in games where people have that as an intent, they can't always just sit there with the ball on the ground because of what the offense of the Colts is doing. So it is a strategy, no doubt. And Houston, who plays them, twice a year in the division, Jacksonville tries to do the same thing, and for the most part, Tennessee tries to do the same thing. It's a keep-away game versus their offense. I think you can take an awful lot of first games, and you can look around the league and use whatever expressions you want to use. But the way that I tried to explain it to you the other day, that we did play ourselves into a better form of football, and the longer we played, the better we played, and that probably took place there. We have hopefully a good plan, and we haven't played the Colts recently, but we did play them a few years ago, and so I think we have a solid plan. We did study in the off season, so you'll have to wait and see on that one. But basically, you still see Tom Moore in the background offensively, even though he's not the play caller now. But Peyton's he's in his 13th year, so he's been running this system a long time. Eli is Eli now. He's worried about his own situation and his own team, and that's where he is. And everything that he does is in terms of studying them. Inside information, no. When you look at them, they kept 4 receivers, and they did that because of Dwight Clark, who becomes the 5th. And you look at last year, they had two receivers over 100 catches, and so they get outstanding contributions from an awful lot of guys. This Collie kid came along, and he's somebody that they depend on right now too, and he had a big play the other day for a long touchdown, and that's with Gonzalez struggling to get back from his injury. So they have lots of weapons. He really knows that offense and runs it very well. And you have to be able to recognize the fact that the number of throws that they have. The other day he threw it 57 times without an interception. His percentage, over the course of the entire season, his accuracy and his high percentage, you got to give him credit for that too. I think if you think about how people build their legacy, if you will, it's based on winning. If a guy wins and wins, the story becomes a greater story. So I just off the top of my head, I remember when John Elway won his second, and what that did for his stature in terms of being recognized in the history of the National Football League. The competitive aspect of this thing is their quarterback and our quarterback are both preparing for our team. And that's who we're going to play, as the Indianapolis Colts football team. And so that's the way Eli will look at this. and nothing different. You know, we've got to go into their place, a dome stadium. You know, we have all that to be concerned with as well. So it's the competitive aspect that comes to the front, and that really is where it stays. You mentioned flexibility, versatility. There wasn't any doubt about being able to do that with Grant, you know, playing him in different spots with the two deep people. Roll has been a corner, so you know that he can do some man coverage on people if you get stuck in situations. So, you know, the ability for them to play together, communicate together, talk among themselves, and get all of those things organized as we continue to play, that's a huge plus. You react to what your decision is based on formation and based on what your call is. I mean, he may be going through gyrations, which are faults, so you've really got to stay focused on where your alignment, your assignment, your technique, where we want you when the ball is snapped. That's the main thing. Some of it is window dressing, and some of it he is changing the play. Well, I'm sure that the Colts have answers for whatever happened, but give credit for the momentum development and the way in which Houston, for example, played the fourth quarter. You know, which, you know, 2 scores and, you know, a lot of rushing yards in the fourth quarter. And from our standpoint, not from the Colts standpoint, we feel better about the development of our passing game, and think that with true balance, which we were able to maintain the other day, even though it's not, the numbers aren't always going to be that great. The rush offense wasn't much, but we still maintained the balance. Given that, we do feel confident in our ability to move the ball in the air. Focus, intelligence, toughness, skill set. Yes.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Check in the pocket.